Hey everyone, it's Christine here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this week's weekly energy reading for the week of October 3rd to October 9th. Did you all feel the shift when Mercury went direct yesterday, October 2nd? I didn't feel anything dramatic. I'm still dealing with issues of talking and we're going straight into the Astrocap, folks. So comment down below how you all have been feeling, how you felt upon waking up to this new week. I felt massive anxiety every day. I'm feeling a lot of things that are starting to shift. They're going to be materializing. We're going to start seeing things popping into our reality, into fruition, because there's been so many planets that have been in retrograde and they're going to start going direct, stationing direct this month in October. And I'll just say October, it's going to be a very transformative month. It's pretty good though. It kind of gives us a precursor, a way to stabilize things, if you will, before we head into Scorpio season. So, like I mentioned yesterday, Mercury stationed direct. It's still in the sign of Virgo, so it's back home, feeling comfy in this sign, very analytical. Some of you may be feeling, your communication is becoming a little bit clearer, but I feel like we're going to ease into that because we are still very much in the shadow period of this, I'll just say this planet turning direct. And I'm even having trouble thinking and talking and matching my words. But next week it'll shift into Libra, so I feel like that'll enhance this season that we're in because the sun is in Libra. And even though it is a lot about communicating with others and really looking at the aesthetics of life and beauty, but appreciating things from that panorama and also focusing on all relationships in our lives, there's been so many alignments that have been passing through. And simply the energies around this that have made this a type of, I would say, time where we're weeding through a lot and we're just looking inward. And so moving on, October 8th, this week, Pluto stations direct. It has been retrograde in Capricorn since April 29th. So it's been a minute, right? And really this retrograde was about releasing fears and becoming aware of our fears, right? Because Pluto is the planet of transformation, of death and rebirth. And during this period, a lot of us may have gone inward, may have felt a pull towards examining things that were coming up, especially with themes around Capricorn. It could be about work, but also since it is opposite Cancer, it's axis, things around family in the home. And again, it'll depend on where this retrograde passed through your birth chart, which house it affected. Themes of control, of work, shadows coming up relating to your goals and what it is you want to pursue and move through in life. Any fears, traumas, wounds coming up as they relate to past lives, karmic contracts and karma, family systems, children, etc. And so this is a good time when this planet stations direct to ask yourself, where can I take more control in my life in areas that I do have control in? Because again, this retrograde really highlighted areas where we were trying to control too much, because Capricorn, it's very focused, right? It's an energy of set your goal, outline the steps and do it and stay very focused. And there's an element there of trying to control every aspect, but there's so many things that have happened and transpired in the last 6 months that were out of our control. And the only thing we can really control is our reaction, our response to different situations and experiences that we have and that we had. And so Pluto, during this time, Pluto stationing direct will really bring up and allow us to reconcile these fears and to realize, okay, what fears were I kind of trying to push away? What do I need to acknowledge now? How can I change that moving forward? And where can I release control with my relationships, with experiences or situations in my life? What is it that I'm holding on too tightly that I need to surrender? So this time is going to give us and allow us the ability to contemplate and to kind of almost bring up to speed and realize how much we have grown, how much we have transformed, and where we are at in our lives right now. Okay, moving forward. The next major event, we have the full moon in Aries occurring October 9th, just the day after Pluto stations direct at 4:45 Eastern Daylight Savings Time, New York City time for reference. And so we just had the full moon in, the new moon in Libra. So now we have this fiery, passionate fire sign with this full moon. So some of you may be feeling a restlessness right now, especially those that are affected by this lunation. And I'm going to talk more about this in a separate video. But what I'll say is that this lunation will meet up with Chiron, which is also retrograde at this moment until December in the sign of Aries, and with Venus. So again, there will be a focal point, a highlight, if you will, on relationships. And so there may be a boiling point in certain situations with people where you're like, that's it, I'm done. Or you may have that ability where you reach that point to be like, okay, this is it, we can't ignore this any longer. But more on that later. So we are going to jump right into the weekly energy reading and see what's going on for us, what the universe wants us to focus on. Ooh, you guys, I've been feeling all this anxiety and anxiousness around me since probably Sunday. I know for me, I'm feeling it's related to the lunar moon, to the full moon coming up, because I'm affected a lot by full moons in particular. But I'm getting too, there's going to be a lot of movement. I'm getting changes, and there's going to be, I just keep getting big things coming. And when we can identify it, especially me, I get feelings of anxiety. And so salt baths have been incredibly helpful, as has being in nature. Comment down below, what has been helping you during this time? Okay. So I didn't pull out too many decks. Apart from tarot, we're gonna go into Oracle. I have the Starseed Oracle, but I don't think this is the Starseed Oracle. This is the Work Your Light Oracle. So we're gonna take a look and see what messages. I feel like with this darkness, there's been a lot of quote unquote darkness, literally, not just around the world. So many things are just happening. It's almost like a volcano where you're squeezing it and just shit just explodes. And every day it seems like more things are coming up to light. But I also feel like within ourselves, especially with Pluto going direct, this is a time to really connect to our shadows and to things that we may have been keeping hidden. Because Pluto, it's the underworld, right? And so during this time, some of us may have been wanting to squash down secrets, truths about ourselves, things we didn't want to bring to light. But with it going direct, things will be. Otherwise, we are going to face, I'll just say, a meeting of the minds with ourselves. Because this is very much a transformation that is affecting us, but also the collective. Okay, we had one card pop up. We have yes, just say yes. Interesting. This almost reminds me of the Three of Cups card. I immediately got Three of Cups. It could be Three of Pentacles, but perhaps it's the water here in the tarot. There's something about community here. I'm sensing socialness, teamwork, but I also feel like this is a merging of ourselves. It could be past, present, future, a collapse of different ways of thinking. There's something here that I'm feeling. I'm getting like expansion, putting yourself out there. There's a need to show your true, what is it? I keep sensing and getting in my head in this song, which I don't like, true colors. I've mentioned this to a few people. I even saw something today in an email that said true colors. And I'm like, what in the world? So there's a lot of, I'm sensing visibility, awareness, awakeness, a realization, or realizations of where you are right now in your life. It may almost hit you like suddenly. If anyone uses vending machines, almost like when you put the quarter or quarters in and you're like, okay, I want a soda, and it doesn't come out. And then when you least expect it, you're standing there getting pissed off at the machine and why nothing's coming out. It just pops out. It's like that type of epiphany. There's a sense of just finally putting all the pieces together within and realizing, oh my God, like I know what this means now, or this all makes sense now. There's a reconciling of self and with others. Truths. Perhaps this relates to the crown chakra. Some of you may have been really tapping in and connecting to your guides, getting 12th house energy, but connecting with your intuition, with your spiritual team, with your guides, receiving a lot of information. Things are coming up to light, literally, and they will be even more so illuminated with this full moon. It's almost like I get bubbles here. You know when you're underwater and you try to breathe and little bubbles come up? It's like that, and they're elucidating information. To me, this is speaking of saying yes to who you are in all aspects. Not negating any pieces of you, parts of you, dimensions, sides that you may not like, that you've seen repeatedly, especially I'll say in the last few weeks. There's just been a lot, especially with people. I call it peopling. If I have to be around people a lot, I'll prepare myself when it comes to peopling with others. Because it's not that I get overwhelmed physically, it's energetically. I get overwhelmed, and some of you may relate to this. There's a sense too, I'm getting, of cleansing. There's a lot of water here. Emotions are coming up. Perhaps some of you this week, especially with this full moon in Aries, may find yourself feeling more emotional. And this is something I want to add too, because people tend to equate fire signs and even earth signs, or like basically any non-water signs, are like, no, they're not really emotional, but especially fire. They're like, they can transmute those emotions easily, and yeah, they're good to go. But no, precisely because this is a full moon. And then we also have, with this particular lunation, and I don't want to go too much into detail with this, but I'll just say there's a lot coming up. I'm just feeling a lot of emotions this week. Perhaps this is a cleansing as we shift, because there's going to be, I'll just say, almost like as things start unraveling, like opening gifts, as you start opening to these new energies and realities, and they start integrating within us. And this isn't even encompassing, I'll just say, any energetic upgrades, ascensions that you may be experiencing at the moment. It's not even including any of that. But there's a need to really get comfortable with how you're feeling and let it out. I even said to myself today, because I just started crying when I was in the middle of working. I'm like, what in the world? I felt these repressed emotions all of a sudden just they bubbled up, literally like these lights. But I keep seeing in my head like being underwater. It's like acknowledging and just allowing and letting it up. And so if some of you are really trying to ignore that, push it away, and you're sensing something that doesn't feel comfortable, that's when you should say yes to it and just allow it to come up. Okay, let's see what other messages does the universe have for us this week. It's interesting because this person, I have to go back, I keep looking at this card. This person has beautiful layers within their dressing, within what they're wearing. And for me, it's revealing of that, because it seems like many of us have been metaphorically wearing layers for a long time. And right now, it's about peeling those layers. It's more so for ourselves, and really becoming acquainted with the deepest part of ourselves, and really accepting those illuminations, because some, I'm sensing, may not want to see these parts come up. Very much speaking the shadows, may not want to be in the presence of them. They could be shadows of fears. This is definitely about going with the flow, but more so with just allowing. Not just saying, okay, I'm done, but simply allowing and recognizing that there's a time and a place for everything. And sometimes things have to happen that's outside of our control, and it's just part of that evolutionary process. Okay, we got a second card. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Look at this. Let me put it up here so you can see it. This almost looks like the picture that's behind this, up here with the mountains. I'm strongly, there is definitely, because I've been experiencing it as well. There's almost like when you come to a four-way stop or a juncture and there's four possible ways, you're like, what, which direction? Or even two. If there's a revision of life paths, of goals, and every aspect of life of where you want to go. Just see a fly around here. There's an element here of trust, not just in trusting yourself, but in having faith and trust in the outside, in what is not always known, because there are no footprints here. There are no footsteps. Some of you are navigating your journey right now where you are in this stage of your life with solely no one in front of you, literally no one marking a path where you can follow, where you can glean advice, where you can glean experience. Some of you are embarking as the first person doing this. And so that could warrant a lot of fear, a lot of ambivalence, a lot of self-doubt, because we're like, wow, who are we? We're going to be embarking on this path alone. We've never done this. There's no one that's done something like this. I'm not really sure where to start. But the key here is just to start, you know? Just the fact that your path may be a little bit different than others, that's the first step. It's just acknowledging that and realizing that strong pull. So I'm getting like a magnet pull, like just being directed towards, you know, when people are following a cue or a line, it's almost like, no, I'm not following that line. I'm going that way. And there's one person that's veering off. I'm getting that energy. Some of you are being called this week to really, really, really get honest with yourself about what you want to do, where you want to go. Doesn't mean you have to make a 360-degree change or affirm this and then next week or the next day you're like, okay, I'm done. This is a new path. But there's an element here of being honest with yourself, because that'll enable you to not just trust yourself, but trust in things that are outside of this that you may not have the answers for. I see so many landscapes here. I get desert. There's water, lagoons, jungles, mountains. So I get a lot of uncertainty too. Again, this speaks to trusting your path. So this is something to contend with this week. What is it that you don't trust within yourself? Is it a capability? Is it a skill? Is it a belief system? There's something there to explore, because there's a fear coming up about, I'm sensing life path, direction. It could simply be in a certain area of your life too. Maybe being in a relationship, since we are in the season of Libra, or whether or not people around you in different capacities are meant to stay in your life. There's a cleansing away here. If you've noticed that, so much water, a lot of water. So to me, this speaks, again, these don't have zodiac signs attached to them, but it speaks to me of, I'm gonna rest my hand up on this book. It speaks to me of cleansing, literally not just taking a shower or a bath, but there's a sense of releasing yourself of what you've been carrying, of what you've been holding on within. It could mean tears, it could mean venting, screaming. There's an energy. It's because emotions are a form of energy, and if they're stuck in your body, they're stagnant. So there's something here to release and clean up, perhaps beautify in your way, since we are in the season where there's so much Venus everywhere, I'll just say, because next week Mercury will be going into Venus. No, oh my gosh, I said that wrong. Mercury will be going into Libra. So we're still in the shadow period for Mercury retrograde until October 17, you also. Okay, we're going to continue on. I'm going to pull another oracle, and then we're going to get into some tarot. This week, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? This speaks to decisions and choices regarding relationships, life path, things that you have been getting signs, hints about over and over and over. There's no denying it anymore. There's an element here of getting out of your own way in order to do what it is that you want to do, what you want to pursue, like truly, and not just because of societal constructs or family pressures or what people outside of you think looks good or you should be doing. There's a matter of connecting to your heart, to your emotions, to how you feel, most importantly. What else do we need to know for this week, please? Ooh. Oh. Okay, fine. A bunch of cards came out. I kind of freaked. Did you see my face? Okay. We have flow. Allow me, divine, to move with the flow and respond with calmness and peace. Didn't I just say something earlier about that? We got dolphins too, you all. Some of you may resonate with dolphins. And there's water again. Some of you may identify as Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, or have major elements, placements, especially in your personal planets. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Look at this. It speaks to me of communication too, with blue. This week, especially, I'll just say with these alignments, with these planets that are going direct, and we just had Mercury, but we'll see the effects come, you know, into fruition with more clarity and strength in the coming days, and obviously within the next 2 weeks. There's a need here to express yourself, to say things. Again, I keep getting a lot of water. It could be something emotional that you need to say, or you could be receiving this. And I feel for a lot of you, there's something to speak out, to express yourself about. There's something about releasing this energy to move forward. It could be part of this transformation that's happening within your own journey of healing, but it's not forcing anything. That's the key here. We got acceptance. Radical acceptance in the now opens the flow. Oh my gosh, you guys, I kid you not. Second card that mentions flow. Again, this speaks to me of not trying rigidly to control something, not holding on to things. If you're not hearing back from someone and you keep going after that and you're like, they're going to answer back, I'm going to message them or email them or visit them or who knows what else. Or if you're still waiting to hear back from a job and you keep following up, or this is definitely about communication. But I also feel like it taps into control. So it could be certain other areas of your life. You may be trying to control how situations go, how you want things to go, and things may not be working out in the way that you want them to. So you're being called at this time to practice acceptance, radical acceptance. Because when you accept things for how they are, situations, people, places, whatever it is that you're experiencing, when you accept things for how they are at the moment, even if you don't agree with them, even if you hate it and you're like, no, but just simply saying, okay, I accept it, even if I can't change it, it's going to bring so much peace. It's going to allow you to almost disconnect from that suffering and from constantly wanting to get to an outcome that you want, but that's not there. It could be for a variety of reasons. It's not your time yet. It's the incorrect situation. This person, place, thing is not for you. You're being redirected. Patience is needed. Things are working themselves out. There's still some time where things have to transform. Whatever it is, there's a need right now to simply back the F off, accept things for how they are right now, and go with things. Like a dolphin swims, you know, I could just see, because they have they're just they look delicate, but they're very strong. And they go with the currents, right? I don't know a lot of animals that fight themselves against the currents. That goes against their natural way of doing things, right? Okay, we got 3 more of these cards, guys, and then we're gonna go into tarot. We got sacrifice. Sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go, illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's sacrifice to love. Again, wow, all of these tap into me, control. Some of you are holding on tightly to something or some things, and this week you're being called. You could be holding on to the way things are right now in your life because there's a sense of starting something new or trusting yourself to go in a new direction. And again, take it as it resonates. It could be any area of your life. But right now, I'm sensing here with this card, there are things that you may not recognize right now as a blessing. They're like blessings in disguise, things that maybe that are being taken away from you. In other words, people may be leaving your life. Circumstances may be changing in your work. Maybe you have a sense that you're not going to be there any longer. You're going to be shifting, or maybe made redundant or laid off, or things are going to change in a way for you. You can just sense it. Dynamics in relationships. Some of you are going to be making decisions about leaving certain relationships, not just people that are just drifting off, because I keep seeing like a wave, but you making that decision. This is a clearing away and unearthing. I've gotten so much Scorpio energy. Perhaps this is the Pluto, the planet that will be going direct very shortly, but I'm getting a lot of Plutonian, I'll just say scorpionic energy about control, about trusting in something bigger, and really contending with the darkness. We have faith here. Miraculously, amazingly, everything I need always comes. Love is opening me to receive beyond anything I imagine. Again, this all taps to trusting in something bigger than you. We have a hummingbird here. We have 2 hummingbirds and butterflies. Are these lotuses? A flower. And this speaks to, you know, hummingbirds speak to balance, to equilibrium, to love, to joy, to the present moment. There's a lot here. Acceptance, flow, sacrifice, faith, about letting go. It's almost like when you're holding on so tightly, and I know a lot of people may not have carriages these days, but imagine holding on to something. You are the person that is steering the horses, right, in this carriage. You hold on so tight to the reins, really, really tight, until you start getting marks in your hands, and you hear someone saying to you, let go, and you don't, because you're like, well, if I let go, like, this carriage is going to go to shit, I'm going to fall, things are going to go who knows where. But this person telling you is telling you you're going to be okay, things are going to stop immediately, the horses will be okay, you won't turn over. No matter how much support and affirmation you are receiving, it's almost like you're like, I can't let go. That's the energy that I'm feeling right now. Holy crap. This is a juncture point for many this week, because there's pain associated with letting go, especially if it comes to people. There's emotions involved. A lot of emotions coming up for healing, for expression, for release. There's so much, I'll just say confirmation here, of knowing that things are going to work out for you. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? This speaks to anything. There's an element here of trusting beyond what you are experiencing now, and trusting in things that you don't even trust at the moment. Finally, we have delusion. Intention without surrender can be a fast path to delusion. So for some that are saying, okay, I know I already released, but you haven't, you're feeling it. Because when you truly surrender and release, it is like a weight has lifted off of you. Energetically, you'll feel it. It's a moment of liberation, of freedom. And so the only person that you are essentially deceiving is yourself. So be really careful. This is a time to be very honest. Again, we have radical acceptance. There's an element of being honest here. Doesn't mean that the things that you're experiencing or what you're going through, whether they're things you're feeling or things you're experiencing with others in relationships or circumstances, doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they are. They just are at that moment. That's what they are appearing. That's how things are happening. So there's an element here of honesty. Holy crap. There's a lot about, we got flow twice. We got surrender twice here. We got love here twice. Things are being, for some of you, it may feel like things are being taken away from you and you're wondering why. You may be asking yourself, like, why me? Why did I lose my job? Why didn't I get that promotion? Why this? Why that? There's something bigger you're about to embark on that some of you don't see, because there's like a feeling of still clearing away grief, still basically staying in that residual energy. And when you're in that, it's difficult to kind of see what's ahead and to trust that better things are coming. It's the hardest part, when we don't want something to end and there's changes coming, because change is change. It's impermanence. And that's really, like people say, it's the only thing we have that's constant. And the closer we get to Scorpio season, the more I feel this stuff is coming up from the depths. For some, this may be a big fear, is change and contending with things that are changing around you quickly. I'll just say, since we entered the fall equinox, things have been changing pretty quickly. Let's pull a few cards, see if there's any other messages. Is there anything else the universe wants us to know, please? Okay. What we have at the bottom of the deck. Page of Swords. Communication opening back up. Communication's coming. Okay. We got the Knight of Cups. This is water energy, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Ten of Pentacles, Earth, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. I knew the water was coming out. Six of Cups. Again, more water energy. We got the World. This is probably why some of you are sensing some fear, anxieties. Also not really wanting to release control. We got the fixed signs here. Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. And we got Two of Wands, Fire, Aries, Leo, Sag. Holy crap, I'm just getting flooded. These are all about relationships, people. Decisions here. We got 2, 6, Knights. This could concern family. I'm seeing family, relationships. It could be romantic partnerships. It could be with friendships as well. But I'm largely getting friends, family. For some of you, these are people that you have known a long time. There is definitely a focus on people near and dear to your heart. This almost speaks to me. I'm getting a lot of Cancer energy about security, stability. Some of you may be wondering, what's coming up for me in these areas of my life? I can't hold all of these together. There's a deepening of bonds, I feel. I keep getting like a shuffle. In some board games, you know, when you shuffle, or even when you shuffle tarot, you mix things up. This is what I'm sensing here with these cards. For some of you, there's going to be a change in people in your life, if it hasn't happened already. I feel like this has been ongoing. But this is going to lead to greater stability in your life. Damn it, I'm getting this strong energy. A lot of you are not releasing or wanting to release people. You're holding on so much. You may be giving people like little seeds of doubt, of benefits of what is it, benefit? Giving people benefit of the what is, oh my God, the word, I can't even say it, benefit of the doubt. I keep getting that word in my head. It's like you're giving people chances or opportunities, even if you don't say it to them, just to keep them in your life, because there's an attachment there. There's some type of wounding there, some type of pain that's coming up, some type of discomfort. And it's reflecting back to you more than anyone what it is that you need to heal. I'm getting just a reshuffling of people. Because the Ten of Pentacles speaks to longevity, wealth in people, in relationships. This is what I'm intuiting right now. This speaks to just generational wealth in general, financial stability, happiness. It's a blessing. Look at this at home. Security, stability. But with what I'm receiving right now, some of you don't want to let go. You see this little child here holding on to both people? That's the energy I'm feeling. It's like, oh, I'm never letting this go. I'm never going to let you go kind of feeling. And for some people, this runs deep. You're contending with relationships that you may have known this person in a past life, or it's someone you've known for a long time, since childhood, or simply you've known them for a long time. These are people maybe you're finding out things about them. Damn it, that song, I don't like that song, True Colors. Cyndi Lauper sings it. There's other artists as well, different renditions. But look at all the colors here. Perhaps you're seeing people's true colors being unveiled, and that's making it difficult. But that should this is where the acceptance comes in. And being able to see people for who they really are, not who you want them to be. That could be the most disconcerting, most horrible. Is that even a word? Most painful, I'll say. I'll use that as a synonym. Most painful thing to experience, when you feel like you thought you knew someone, and at the end of the day, you're like, I never knew that person. We have the World card here. This is an ending of a cycle. And I feel like for many, and it's going to vary by timeline. Oh my gosh, I'm channeling the song, Boys to Men. It's the end of the road. I don't know if you guys know that. There may be something in the lyrics. It may be the end of the road for some of you in these relationships. There's a shitload of people here. A lot of different personalities, colors, and when I say colors, I mean just their personalities, not making reference to race, ethnicity, or any of that. It's just, you know, that song True Colors, it's looking at people for who they are. And it doesn't mean these people are bad. I want to say that. It doesn't mean they're toxic. They can be, but it's really realizing that you may not be in sync. The bottom line is you may not be in sync with these people anymore. Your growth, where you're heading towards, and how much you've transformed in the last, we'll just say even in the last month, but in the last several months, maybe even years, depending on how you have been connected to these energies, it's changed. You've come full circle. Many of you, it's time for that freedom, for that liberation. Holy crap, there's that control here. And then we have the Two of Wands. Some of these people may be at a distance. Some of these people may be virtual friendships, companions, whatever they are. I also get transnational communities. Some of these you may have been a part of for so long. So again, I'm getting longevity here. This could also speak to you making a shift, a dramatic shift in your life, perhaps fear, and perhaps there's a need, why we got earlier. Trust your path, and yes, just say yes. Some of you are wanting to make a shift. Because I mentioned earlier, the topography, like the landscape here is very different. And so some of you may be thinking and contemplating about moving, literally moving. I'm not talking about moving to the next apartment or a home in the same town, like moving to a new place, new state, new country, perhaps new geographic area. Maybe you lived near the beach and you're like, I want to go to the forest, or you lived in the mountains and want to go to the beach, whatever it is. Just I'm just sensing a strong need to change your location, to shift your energy. Some of you are going to be, this could be a decision you're making, because look at the emphasis on the world. And we got the World card, naturally. It could be too connecting with people. There's a lot of different things that I'm picking up right now. For some of you, this might be a decision about actually moving towards others to get closer to them. So it could be with family, it could be kids. It'll depend on your circumstances. It could be because of work. We have Pentacles here due to work, taking an opportunity. It could be relocating back to your childhood area, especially if you've lived far away from that area for a long time, or simply reconnecting to love. We've got the Knight of Cups here. There's essentially a shift, a huge shift in the peopling essentially in your life. This week, it's really about trusting something bigger. Some of you, you may never know the particulars of why things are kind of shutting down the way they are, or why things are shifting. Because I got right now, some of you may be in relationships, especially I'm getting like partnerships, romantic relationships, and they're like shutting down. They're not, it's not working. You're like, you may be saying like, why aren't things working out the way they used to? Like, what's going on? I thought this was, you know, the relationship for me or my person. It's because there's someone out there that you're being guided towards. Because I keep getting there's something It's all part of something bigger. And I always say you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your intuition always. Follow what guidance you receive as well. But I keep getting it's not meant to be offensive. There's something better for you out there. In other words, there's someone out there who vibes with you on a frequency closely related to yours, if not the same level, and you're going to feel even more connected to this person. When I always say, like, there's someone better out there for you, I'm not degrading or demeaning that person that you are with or that you may have left behind or are currently separating from, regardless of relationship status or what type of relationship it is. I want to make that clear. It simply means that you guys essentially like turning on a radio, you know, when you turn on the radio frequencies, there's different ones. Sometimes you get static and sometimes the other ones come crisp, clear, and you're like, yes, that's it. It's in that way. It's all about energies. Okay, we're gonna get final advice for the week. I swear to God, we've seen decisions, but this also speaks to balance. I wanna say this. Again, we're in the season of Libra right now, so it's all about balance. Balance and harmony within ourselves, within our relationships especially, and we got, again, relationships within our life path and our goals, right? Work and play, are they equal? Are we spending enough time doing things to take care of ourselves and not just working? So again, the Two of Wands here speaks to making sure that what's around us right now in the life that we are a part of, it's balanced in a way that makes us feel, it almost makes us feel like we're pursuing things that we want to with intention and with consciousness. We're not just going through the motions. There's a huge lesson here about, it's not just taking things for granted, but making sure things are done with an intentionality and having that gratitude for the experiences that you've been through, the people that you've come across, because not everyone always stays with you forever in your life journey. Can we get some guidance, please? Some final guidance for the week. I swear, every week I'm like, okay, we're gonna make this short, and I see the clock ticking. Can we get final guidance, please? Okay, we got one card. We got 10 of Wands at the bottom. There's completion. I feel like, wow, there's like an unstuckness. Some of you are still trying to get yourself unstuck, unravel, undo. There's a word here and I can't remember it. You're trying to extract yourself, if you will, from some of these circumstances and situations. Advice, Four of Wands. There's going to be a time for celebrating. Some of you may not see it or feel it right now, but as things unravel, as you continue to flow, if I could give one advice from all of this, it's to accept things for how they are and be super honest, because we get that with delusion and acceptance. Be super, super honest with everything around you right now. More importantly with yourself, but be honest about how things are. And simply just do what you can, and that's it. When you feel like you're forcing something and you know, and you're like, oh my God, I haven't heard from this person. Why aren't they calling me? Or why haven't I received, confirmation of this, or whatever it is, take a deep breath. Know that the time is coming to celebrate. Four, to me, also speaks of stability. Coming together with people that match you on an energetic level. It's literally like the wheel, full circle. We are going to pull final Starseed Oracle, final messages, and end it for this week. It's always when there's those feelings of, gosh, something feels off, something feels weird. That's when we're most guided to trust, to release, and to flow. Because when we get into that state of anxiousness, especially if you're feeling it all around you, I've been feeling it for the last several days, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, this has been kind of tough. Look what we got, inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. So I'm inviting you this week to do something you really love, no matter what you're experiencing. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe make yourself a cup of tea with your favorite tea. Sit down and just sit there and contemplate. Hold the tea. What's going through your body, through your mind, through your soul and your thoughts. Engage in something that really brings you a lot of joy and love. It's a small step that can start the path to equilibrium for you, especially inner. Because when so much around us is changing so rapidly, when things one day seem, I'll just say quote unquote, amazing and perfect, and the next day you're like, what happened? Things fall to shit. It's that inner alchemy, that ability to not just emotionally regulate, but that ability to shift these types of fear, these types of fearful thoughts and emotions into something bigger, into love. It really taps into your heart. It's going to shift everything dramatically. You all, damn, this felt like such a serious, at the bottom we had signs. Some of you are getting signs. I've been getting a shitload of signs. Slow and steady. I see that little snail in my head. Slow and steady. This has been a heavy read, I feel. I feel like things are about to tip. We're going to get illumination in October. It's going to be, I think, one of the most profoundly transformative months. So much for the lightness of the Libra energy, right? Venus. But this is wonderful to set us up for the next coming months. And as we end, I'll just say this calendar year. I'm wishing you an incredible week of peace, of being, of releasing, and trusting yourself. And I will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm truly, truly grateful for my little community that's growing, for all of your support. I love interacting with you. Comment down below. Let me know how you all are doing, what you've been experiencing, what's been shifting. I simply like connecting with everyone. Until then, take care.